And we're live. Welcome to another episode of Rankum. Today is It's going to be a fun one. We're going to be talking about war movies. What is it good for? um, but anyway, like this is a topic in which I personally am not a big fan of war movies myself. But it's one of those ones I thought, well, I'm going to jump in because it's what people wanted, and I've seen it a good handful to do this. So yeah, um, but I've got also got a panel. I've got Dan. Dan, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great, Malcolm. But I'll tell you, I'm gonna say this right off the top. This is not going to be easy to narrow this down to 12. There are just so many different kinds of war films. Sometimes you got 15 minutes of war in the actual movie. So it's a lot of really tough choices to make. I'm hoping that you guys have seen a lot of the movies that I'm going to try to pick, or vice versa, so we can make it easier. And I'm glad to be on again. I appreciate being on.
And also here I've got Chris Diaz. Chris, how's it going?
Going good. This was a tough one. I have a few questionable ones. I think it'd be interesting to hear you guys pick, but I actually saw one that just added to the list today, recently. So.
But with that being said, how the show works is we're going to go round the board, and everyone's going to nominate a war movie that they think belongs on a top 12 list, and then everyone else says yes or no to it, and that's that. And then at the end we rank them. And I'm going to start with Dan. Dan, what's the first movie you're going to bring up?
Well, I'll tell you what. Probably one of my favorite movies of all time. One of the best movies I've ever seen about war. And if you ask the man that made the movie, it was not the easiest movie to make, because he actually his wife made a documentary about making the movie, and that documentary shows the ardors and everything that went into making the film, and that is Apocalypse Now by Francis Ford Coppola. It's phenomenal film. I cannot recommend it enough. If you haven't got seen it on 4K, I recommend it on 4K. It's absolutely a great, a beautiful version of the film. So Apocalypse Now, I mean, you got to have that on a list of the best war films, in my opinion.
Chris, what do you say about Apocalypse Now?
I am not. Well, on my list to watch this week for the first time, I put another war movie before, so I had to abstain. I want to see it, but I cannot say yet because I haven't seen it
yet. This is one I've only seen once. I can't tell you which version I've seen because there's so many different cuts out there of this. But yeah. I mean, it's a good movie. I'll say yes to it. So Apocalypse Now is the first one to come on. Chris, what's the first one you're going to bring up?
So I'm not going to go with my number one. I'm going with the one that probably will pop out in a lot of people. Like, this is probably my favorite from this director. It's powerful, emotional. It shows how the warrior Schindler's List. Yes, you could say that doesn't involve World War II a lot, but it does involve the Holocaust, the Nazi side, with Liam Neeson character trying to sail the Jews. It's emotional. The girl in the red dress is a haunting image in the movie. Ralph Fiennes gave an amazing performance in the movie. He should have won the Oscars. It's that scary as the villain. Liam Neeson is so good. Ben Kingsley is so good. The ending is so emotional when you see the real life people with the actor that played them putting the stone on his grave. It's so good, and I could have said more. That line alone sent chills down my spine. It's one of my favorite war movies, and it's one of my favorite superhero movie.
Schindler's. I remember having a conversation with someone about this by questioning, is it a war movie? Is it not? I I mean, it is like it's one of those grey area ones, but I'm going to say yes to it because I do think it is a war movie because one, it is set during World War Two, just showing the opposite side of the war. But I mean, this is a good movie. I'm saying yes to it. Dan, what would you have said about Schindler's List?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, you and I had this conversation before Chris came on that war movies don't always have to have fighting in them. They could be 15 minutes of actual war and like the human condition, how people interact during a war and how they act, and even how the people that are in the war act and the people at home act and how they interact off of each other. And one of the best ones about that, about how the people interact with the people in the war and the differences of the people's lives within the war and the people is Schindler's List. I mean, it's absolutely an absolute beautiful film. Another one, if you haven't seen it on 4K, there's a 4K version of this. It's absolutely gorgeous in black and white. Little girls and the little girl in it is in red, and of course, you know what a sad situation with her in there. And I agree with Chris. Ralph Fiennes got absolutely robbed. I don't know who won Best Supporting Actor that year or whatever. I don't know. Was it Tom Hanks?
No, Tom Hanks was Best Actor.
Best Actor for Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who won Best Supporting Actor that year, but I'll tell you, Ralph Fiennes was just, oh God, brutal. So yeah, I would have voted yes for Schindler's List because you don't always have to have a bunch of fighting in the war movie for it to be a war movie.
Yeah. But it's on to me for my first one. I'm going to bring up Saving Private Ryan. This is a great movie. It's one of those ones I didn't expect to like at all, but it's one that like I watched. It's enjoyable. Steven Spielberg does great. Like Tom Hanks, Vin Diesel, all in this, and they all give great performances. And yeah, there's not much more I can say. But Dan, what do you say about Saving Private Ryan?
Well, here's an example of what we're just talking about. The first 20 minutes of this movie are brutal. They're absolutely brutal. Bloody, violent, gory, deaths left and right. And then the rest of the movie is them looking for Private Ryan. But that has probably one of the greatest war scenes in any movie to date or before it. And you can't, once again, I feel like it's a no-brainer. You have to have Saving Private Ryan on a list of war films. So, yeah, it's a definite yes for me.
Chris, what do you say? What would you have said about Saving Private Ryan?
I don't entirely remember all of the movie. It's such a good movie. The opening minute is so haunting and so intense. I have to say yes, it's such a good movie. I need to go back to rewatch it because I only remembered it for 10 minutes, that whole opening scene, but it's still a good movie for what I remember. Anyway, so yeah.
Which means, Dan, we go back to you.
We have three. Would you say, Chris?
I'm saying we have 3 so far, right?
Yeah. I'm going to go back.
I'm
going to go back to the Vietnam War, and I'm going to do one that won Best Picture in 1986, and that's Oliver Stone's Platoon, starring Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe, Charlie Sheen. I mean, Apocalypse Now is one aspect of the Vietnam War. Platoon is another aspect of the Vietnam War, but you see the condition of the people in the war and what the war does to these different characters, whether it be Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now or these guys in Platoon. And Oliver Stone has made a few films about the Vietnam War because he was in Vietnam, and he's one of the best directors about when it comes to telling about the Vietnam War. I mean, he did also Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise and Platoon, and I think he did another one. I just can't think of the name of it right now, but this movie really gets into the grit and the grime and the dirt and the ugly part of war, the blood, the gore, and these characters really go through their paces in this movie, and that's what you want from a great war movie, in my opinion. So obviously the Oscar voters thought so because they voted at Best Picture and gave him the Best Director. So I'm going to do Platoon.
Chris, what do you say about Platoon?
So this was the film that we're referencing, and I saw that Apocalypse Now. I freaking love this movie. This film haunted me after watching it. The scene in the Vietnam village, where they just take the villagers and shoot them to attempt the wife. And like, it's so haunting, it's so powerful. Keith David gave probably my favorite scene in the movie when he talked to Charlie Sheen about having someone to talk to from home before Keith David leaves to go home. It's such a powerful scene. Willem Dafoe is fantastic in the movie. Tom Brady did a great villain in it. Like, everybody did a great performance. Nobody has seen it yet. Definitely check it out. It definitely stuck with me since the 2 days after I watched it. Come on.
So there was a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just haven't seen Platoon, but Platoon makes it on anyway.
Malcolm, I know what you said before the show, so I'm not even gonna. But do yourself a favor.
Yeah, you're in for emotional roller coaster.
Great film, great film, Malcolm.
But Chris, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Okay, I'm going to go outside the war that we know. I'm going with the one everybody's favorite war. It's one of the best movies despite the actor that we don't really love because it anti outside being actor. Then I'll get into the Braveheart. Braveheart is without doubt one of the most I'll drop in best speech like freedom. Great performance, Mel Gibson. Great villain. Great acting. Really good look at the Scarlet Rebellion. And when I say a war movie that popped into my mind, I saw it a few years back for the first time, and the average that wide by, and the ending is so impactful. Freedom, like that last line he say, it's just like it sticks with you. So I had to go Braveheart, despite how we feel about Mel Gibson personally.
But yeah, I've tried watching Braveheart many of times. It's just, I find it so boring. The speech is probably the only good part about this movie. I'm saying no. Dan, what do you say about Braveheart?
Yeah, well, Chris, you're a man after my own heart, buddy. Love Braveheart. Love this film. I love what he was trying to do, why he was doing what he was doing, and it really shows this conflict where England was trying to take over the world at the time, where they ruled the world, and a lot of these small different countries were fighting them and fighting their control. So, and Mel Gibson, Gleason, Brendan Gleeson, I love. Or was it Brian Cox? I can't remember. Brian Cox or Brendan Gleeson. I think it's Brendan Gleeson is in there. Yeah, I love Braveheart. I think it's phenomenal, and I think it shows war too. It has a great battle. It really shows that war, and Mel Gibson directed it too. So not only did he star in it, so yeah, Braveheart. I would definitely put Braveheart on the list.
Yeah. Who played the villain, by the way? That's the actor we're trying to remember.
Oh God, the villain. Yeah. Oh man. You're right. Yeah. I can't remember the villain myself right now.
He's so good in that role. He's so despicable.
Let me look it up. Let me look up Braveheart real quick here.
But anyway,
sorry.
But anyway, while he's doing that, I'm going to go on to my next one, and for my next one, I'm going to go Glory. Glory, I think, is a great movie. Denzel Washington. is a great actor. He's been in so many great movies, and this is about the Massachusetts infantry regiment from the American Civil War, and I think this shows a lot of that old time stuff great, and I think it's one of those movies which I enjoyed watching, and it's one that I probably will go back and rewatch just because of the performances alone. Dan, what do you say about Glory?
Yeah, Malcolm, I'll tell you right now, if you go back, there's not a lot of movies about the American Civil War. And there's not a lot of movies that actually do the war justice. But one of them is Glory. And it really gives you the down and dirty side of the American Civil War from the aspect of that black regiment. And it's got some scenes with Denzel Washington that are incredible. He won his first Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in Glory. I definitely think if you're going to put a list of best movies about war, then Glory is definitely one of them. And it talks about a war that we don't really get a lot of movies about, or they don't go that extra length that Glory goes to show you how messy and gory and bloody and awful the American Civil War is, which, America lost more soldiers in the American Civil War than we've lost in any other war, because what happened? We're fighting ourselves. So yes, Glory, I definitely put Glory on.
Chris, what do you say about Glory?
I forgot about Glory, and I don't remember Glory, so I probably would have had this name because it's been a long time of watching in history class, so that's the only thing. But it was a good movie for what I remember. I would have had this name because it's been years since I've seen it.
And that brings us to halfway through the list. Dan, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Well, we're going to start getting into some movies that I'm starting to worry about here, but I'm just hoping one of you guys saw this movie, and or I'm going to be losing my turn a lot here. We haven't really got to World War I that much, and I want to bring up one particular World War I movie, but I'm going to end up bringing up another one instead. That's Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory with Kirk Douglas. It's half of a war movie and then a half of a trial because these guys are deserters and stuff. It takes place in France. A lot of the movie. I think this is. A lot of people put like 2001: A Space Odyssey or some of these other Stanley Kubrick movies. I think this is absolutely Stanley Kubrick's best movie to date, hands down. It is absolutely phenomenal movie. It's another one that shows you the dirty, dirty side of war. That people they don't want to be there so much that they desert and they leave, and they get caught and they have to go to trial for being deserters because they don't agree with what they're there for. It's an ugly, ugly film in that sense, but it's a great, 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 great film. Paths of Glory from Stanley Kubrick.
Chris, what do you say about Paths of Glory?
I have not seen it. It was a Stanley Kubrick movie on my list, so the one I might bring up later, but I sadly had to abstain because I never even heard of this until now.
This was one that I tried from because I knew it was on Netflix at one stage in New Zealand this year, but when I went to watch it, it wasn't there anymore. So yeah, I haven't seen it.
I had a feeling I had a feeling you guys haven't seen it, but I wanted to bring it up anyway because you just can't not bring up Paths of Glory in the top 12 war movies, you know.
But Chris, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
So I'm going to go with a probably interested to you guys reaction to it. Yeah, a bit fictional in terms of World War II. I'm going with Glorious Bastard. It is probably one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies about World War II. It's so funny. It's so charming. Christoph Waltz gave a menacing performance. And yeah, it's a bit fictional, but it's based on World War II. It does Hitler. It does have everything. That one of the only two Hitler movies I have on my list. But it's so funny. It's so entertaining. Brad Pitt is hysterical. The Italian scene, the opening itself is one of the most haunting openings to any movie. Like, and bravo, like, just to see Hitler being killed when we could have seen it happen in real life, and bloody hell. That's so good. So I am interested to see if you guys with that did, because I know it technically you could go either way with it. Like English Bastard.
But yeah, Inglourious Bastards, like, I do enjoy. I think it's a good movie. I'm going to say yes to this. It's one of those ones which is one of those fun ones to watch in Tarantino style. But yeah, but Dan, what would you have said about Inglourious Bastards?
I think the beginning of this movie, the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes of this movie, is some of the best acting you'll ever see in any movie ever. Christoph Waltz, I cannot say enough how incredible he is in the first 15, 20 minutes. He literally speaks 4 languages in the first 15, 20 minutes of this movie. And like I said before, there are so many aspects of war. And this movie deals with so many different aspects of war. Yeah, is it a fictional take on World War II? Sure it is. But is it a good World War II movie? I think it is. And that means it's a war movie. And you're dealing with all different sides of the war. You're dealing with the bad guys, the good guys, innocents. And I absolutely think Quentin Tarantino, this is his masterpiece, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of people, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs. This is the best film he's ever directed to date, in my opinion. I think it's a phenomenal film. And Christoph Waltz came onto the scene in this movie. And we're so glad he did, because the guy's a great actor. So yes, I would have gave it I would have definitely put it on the list.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of these movies we're talking about are probably more fictionalized accounts from the war. Some of them, but unless they're specifically based on true story, then we don't really know for sure if it actually happened or not. So I mean,
really?
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones. Like, it's one of those ones that's hard to tell unless there's really historians who go, "Oh, this didn't happen. That guy did that happen." Like,
well, Hitler didn't die in a fire in a theater.
No, but my next movie I'm going to bring up, I'm just going to move my head to do the title. It's Jojo Rabbit.
That would have been my referencing to.
Jojo Rabbit is a fun movie, and well, yes, it is primarily a comedy. It is still a war movie because it is about the war, and shows a more fun side of the Nazis and all that, and just a lot of the fun side, and all the cast is amazing in this, like bar Rebel Wilson, but I mean, I don't think I can name anything she's probably good in. But that being said, Jojo Rabbit is a fun movie. I'm bringing it up. Dan, what do you say about Jojo Rabbit?
I'll be 100% honest with you, Malcolm. I love Jojo Rabbit. I think it was a fun movie. Plus, it had a just absolutely gut-wrenching scene right in the middle of the movie. I think there's a better movie about hiding people in the closet, and that's The Diary of Anne Frank. And I'm like I said, I love Jojo Rabbit, but I think if you're going to put a list of the best 12 movies about war, Jojo Rabbit isn't one of them, and it has nothing to do with my like or dislike of the movie. And so I'm going to say no, but I have a feeling Chris will say yes, so it doesn't matter what I say.
Chris, what do you say about Jojo Rabbit?
I love this movie. Now talk about the most haunting scene of last year was the shooting, without giving much away. him seeing the shoe. It just hit me hard and so much. It's so good. It's so funny. And the Adolf Hitler thing too is very hit and miss, but Sam Rockwell gives a really good performance in the movie. His arc is really good. The kid performance is great. Scarlett Johansson, like, back-to-back nomination last year, pretty impressive for 2 really good performances from her. And I'm gonna say yes, even though we're cutting it down a little bit. Like,
And can I just say one thing? In my opinion, I don't even think this is the best movie that Scarlett Johansson dies in from last year. That's just my opinion.
wow.
And I love the movie, but it's not the best movie that she dies in.
I mean,
The shoe scene.
I mean, if that's the way one you want to die on that hill, go for it. But Dan, you're next up.
No. I mean, no. I said at the beginning, I love Jojo Rabbit. I'm not.
No, I know. I was talking more about the fact if you want to focus on ScarJo dying in movies as what you're going to take from that.
No, I'm not. I just wanted to bring that up as a caveat of what we're discussing.
One is a emotional shock moment in the movie
Well,
because you don't see
they're
it
both
coming.
shocking. Don't tell me you saw that coming in Avengers Endgame. You didn't see that coming in Avengers Endgame.
I didn't.
You
One
did?
of them had to go. So it obvious
Or by the TV series coming out.
Like,
What happened?
Well, you knew she had a movie, so how did you
and he
know?
has family.
It's been Black Widow's been widely touted as a prequel though. So, but anyway,
Yeah,
this is
no,
not,
it is a prequel.
this
It
is
is
not
a
an this is not an MCU talk. Dan,
I
what
know.
did you think of the movie?
You're right, Malcolm. You're right. It isn't. It isn't. I'll tell you what. Another World War I movie that I have a feeling that you guys actually saw. I just took my chance with Paths of Glory, thinking maybe somebody would have seen it. I'm going to go back to World War I, but this time it's a beautiful, gorgeous, some of the best cinematography I've ever seen in any movie to date. Another bloody, gory, just violent movie, but it just looks gorgeous opposed to Paths of Glory that looks just disgusting and ugly because it's in black and white, and that's 1917. You want to talk about the war movie that should have been on the list from last year? This is the one that should be on the list from the last year, not Jojo Rabbit. But you guys have your right to put up whatever you want. This movie is incredible. 2 relatively unknown starring in. And the stars are all in supporting roles. Benedict Cumberbatch, Colin Firth, Richard Madden, Mark Strong are all in supporting roles. But the real star of the movie is Roger Deakins. The direction from Sam Mendes. Those are the stars of the movie, if you ask me. This is what happens when you have great directors, great cinematographers who know what they are doing, and they show it on screen. 1917.
Chris, what do you say about 1917?
I like the movie a lot. And not my favorite movie of last year. I happy Parasite won over it because Parasite is a much better film. But it's really good movie. We down to 9. I did let Malcolm beat the deciding vote because it's a really good movie, but it in my 10 to 12 range, and it's not like any higher as some of the other films on my list. Like, I just think the lack of connection with the character hurt it a little bit, despite the visual on that. Like, it's hard to connect to the character with not a lot given about stuff that they mentioned in passing. Like the emotional connection. I think there was one film I just added that I think did a better job at showing the war aspect that I realized was a war movie technically. So Malcolm, you did a tiny vote here.
All right, Malcolm, I voted yours down. You going to vote mine down?
Yeah, I just haven't seen it. It was on my list to try.
You know
and
what? I
watch,
feel bad now.
So I was on my list to try and watch all this. I just never got around to it. But Chris, we go back to you.
Guys gotta
Right,
watch
you know,
the
I'm going to
world.
change it up a bit.
All right.
I don't even mention a film that. Okay, we should discuss about whether it's directly released or not released. This is a movie that just came out this year about Vietnam. The side effect of war, especially on forget the actor name, but about the Vietnam War and children after Vietnam coming back to find their common body and the girl that was left behind, going to fight blood. It one of the slightly best movies he made. I love Black Klansman more, but the performances, with Chadwick Boseman, everybody from the great performance. I'm looking up the acting right now who
Delroy
bugged me
Lindo.
because I think he should be nominated.
Delroy
Lindo, who gave one of the best performances of this year, that hopefully gets some Oscar consideration next year. It's so decided for what war does to a person, the guilt he had with killing his common spoiler from the movie that came out this year. And him carrying that guilt, especially related with his son. Yeah, a little cheesy, and yeah, the young face thing a little distracting, but the performances, the story about war, and then everything after the war. It's a really good movie. You guys haven't check out The Five Bloods. I did remember it to now when making my list. Like,
Yeah, this is one that I rented to watch. I didn't know how I was going to think about this movie just because like as I said, I don't track down war movies, but I always try to see as many movies in any given year to. But I did check this. I was surprised by it. I'm going to say yes. Dan, what do you say about The Five Bloods?
Oh man, I love The Five Bloods. Don't get me wrong. I think the performance by Delroy Lindo is fantastic, but there's still more Vietnam War movies that are better than The Five Bloods that are eligible to be on this list and should be on this list. I mean, The Five Bloods doesn't even come close to some other Vietnam War movies that we haven't even brought up yet. I would have voted no for this, and I'm surprised that you guys even brought this up, to be honest.
But anyway, there's 3 spots left. It's back to me, and I'm going to take a risk here because it's a documentary film, but it's still a movie. It was still released in theaters. I'm going to bring up They Shall Not Grow Old. Peter Jackson's documentary he did on World War One very recently, and this is a great movie. Like he cleaned up a lot of footage from the war and added the voice acting stuff, and it's just one of those ones that is so good. And just to hear the interviews from the veterans who've been in the war, and it's one of those ones like it. He intended it to be an immersive experience to show what it's like to be a soldier, and I think that really works. And it's just a unique way to do a war documentary. But yeah. But Dan, what do you say about They Shall Not Grow Old?
Before I say anything, I'm gonna abstain and go to Chris, and then come back to me.
Chris, what do you say about They Shall Not Grow Old?
I never saw it. It was playing my TV. I never got a chance to see it. And it's playing somewhere. I know I'm streaming it on my list of stuff to watch. I don't have to say stuff because like Peter Jackson Law had directed it. It's just I never got around to watching it.
Go back to you, Dan.
That means
Malcolm. I cannot say enough about how much I love this movie, Malcolm. I I think it's a phenomenal look at World War One. These real men, and what he did with the color grading and bringing the color back to the film and all this stuff, or colorizing the stuff. It's just I've brought up 2 World War One films, and neither one of them have been put on the list. And now you want me to put this documentary, which I absolutely think is a phenomenal film, I might add, on the list when we have 3 spots left.
Yep.
And I mean, there's films. There's still at least 2 more World War One films that are phenomenal films that haven't even been brought up yet. So it's not has nothing to do with you, Malcolm.
Yeah, I have one more. No,
I want to try to see if we can get maybe another World War One film on the list. So I'm going to say no. And I have nothing against this film. I think it's an incredible film.
There's actually one more World War One film on the list.
But with that being said, we go back to Dan.
Sorry.
A war we have not brought up on the list yet, and I think you need to bring it up. It needs to be brought up. The movie that is based on it is, like I said, there's other aspects of war. It's not just about the absolute fighting of war, and that is Bridge on the River Kwai. William Holden, Alec Guinness, David Lean. The guy directed 2 absolute masterpieces in his career, and he won Best Picture for both of them. And one of them is Bridge on the River Kwai. If you're going to talk about the greatest war movies of all time, you have to talk about The Bridge on the River Kwai. And it's about the Korean War, not World War II or the Vietnam War, but the war between the Vietnam War and the World War II, the Korean War. So that's my pick. What is going on in Chris's bedroom?
He's having a rave party. But Chris, what do you have for Bridge on the River Kwai?
Abstain. I have not seen it yet. I know it on. I can't find it anywhere at the moment. That on my long list of stuff to watch.
Yeah, I also haven't seen it.
Unbelievable.
Chris,
with Alec Guinness, you would have seen this.
Chris,
because I can't find it anywhere on streaming.
Yeah, I've got the same issue. Chris, what is the next movie you're going to bring out?
Alright. Should I go with World War One or should I go with some? You know what? We haven't even covered the American Revolution. I did bring up Polly. Kind of thing by Braveheart. I did bring up the Patriot with Mel Gibson and Jason Isaac. A really good American Revolution film. Mel Gibson good. Jason Isaac is a really good villain actor when it comes to movie. He is terrifying. He is menacing. He is like despicable and involved. He likes to give a good performance. Everybody in the film gives good performance. Braveheart at the American Revolution to the British side and the American side. And that church scene, taunting as hell. And Jason Isaac got what he got coming to him at the end of that film. So going with the Patriot.
The Patriot is just one that I'm going to just flat out say no. I think it's fine. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. Dan, what do you say about the Patriot?
I'm right with Malcolm actually on this. I like the Patriot. I think it's got great performances. It shows an aspect of the American Revolutionary War that we don't get that very often in films. But once again, there's so many other films that I want to try to bring up and try to get on here. And I just don't think you can include the Patriot as one of the 12 best not World War II, but war movies. It's a great film, and I very, very much enjoy it. But no, it's a no for me.
But anyway, for my next one, I'm going to go for one.
Canada, we don't have a lot of American.
No, there isn't. There isn't. You're right.
But for my next one, I'm going to go for one that I'm surprised has taken this long to get to be honest. But it's Full Metal Jacket. This is a great movie. Got Ali Ermey, Adam Baldwin, Alice Howard, Matthew Modine, Vincent D'Onofrio, all in this. This is just one of those movies in which is a great movie. I think it's one of those ones in which shows a lot about war and just how much it can affect people. But yeah, Dan, what do you say about Full Metal Jacket?
I'll tell you right now, Malcolm, and this is my honest 100% opinion here. The first half of this movie, when they're at base camp, basic training, and Army Lee Ermey and Vincent D'Onofrio and these guys, what they're going through, is some of the best preparation for war in basic training and so forth I've ever seen in any movie to date. The last half of this movie, where they're actually at war, Vietnam is England. It's on a soundstage in England. It's the worst looking Vietnam and some of the worst filming of a war I've ever seen in any movie that I've ever seen, let alone a Stanley Kubrick movie. He made Paths of Glory. Then he can't get on a plane and go to a jungle and film the Vietnam War scenes. He does it in sound stages and in England that obviously aren't Vietnam, and it's such a fake second half of this movie. But based on the first half of the movie and the basic training and the drill sergeant and the trainees and that sort of stuff, I'm going to say yes. But the second half of this movie is awful.
Chris, what would you have said about Full Metal Jacket?
Man, I thought you would be on the same page with me. I like Full Metal Jacket. I don't like the last half hour. I think everything in the first half is fantastic. The only thing I remember about the second half, the Mickey Mouse Club, I would have said no because I closed my door. My dad loved that film. I don't love it as much as everybody else in the world does.
So Chris, what do you have? What is your next?
Oh, it's my turn, right?
Yes, that's Dan's turn. So
I was going to say, skipping over me, Malcolm. No, I know you didn't do it on purpose. Another one. Maybe we'll get a World War I film on the list. This to me is a just absolutely ugly movie that depicts World War I, just in the toll and the just the grime and everything. And that is All Quiet on the Western Front. This is a silent movie, black and white, came out in the 1930s or I think 1930s. I'll tell you what, guys, if you have not seen this movie, you have to see this movie. I know black and white isn't for everybody. I know silent films aren't for everybody, but oh my God, what a absolutely depressing. It shows how ugly and how dirty and how just miserable war is, and that's I just can't say enough about what a great film All Quiet on the Western Front is.
Chris, what do you say about All Quiet on the Western Front?
Once again, I couldn't find it anywhere upstate because nowhere. If someone to point me where to find it, I will watch it. A lot of these movies were hard to find, and then sadly no for me.
Yeah, I tried to find this, but it was all quiet on my streaming services, so it wasn't there. But Chris, we go back to you this time.
Okay, should I go with the cheesy World War I, or should I go with I down to 3 right now, and I know till then they get reaction. You know what? I'm going to go with something that I like a lot. I know it's not well loved by people, but this is the best movie for this director. Recently, one other movie. I'm going with Fury with Brad Pitt and Logan Lerman, and Shia LaBeouf, and everybody else. Michael Pena, Don Barrett. It's a really good look at World War II tanks during the Nazi Germany invasion era of World War II. Brad Pitt gave it Logan Lerman gave a great performance. Brad Pitt really gave a really good performance. The tank scene intense as hell, and the ending is very effective. Shia LaBeouf, we're right. Him coming back to the actor that we know of him today, being a really good actor. His scene in the tank with the Bible, talking about the Bible, everything, very effective. Everybody gave great performance. Great action. Really good directing for David Ayer. Very good small moment with the French woman and everything. And you guys haven't seen it. I know it's debatable with some people, but I think, especially from a director like David Ayer, it's one of his better movies that he directed. Which I ended to watch.
So Fury, is that the movie?
Yeah, Fury with Brad Pitt, Logan Lerman. Yeah.
But Dan, what do you say about Fury?
You're skipping
I
yourself?
deliberately keep. I will get back to myself. I'm going to go to you first.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I love the performances in this movie. I really think it's a good movie. But is it one of the best 12 war movies of all time? And that is no. It's not even one of the best 12 World War II movies, if you really think about it. And it's a very, very good movie. And I don't have anything against it. David Ayer does a great job. I do agree. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely would like to have Fury on the list other than other things. But because we're so short-handed now, I want to try to nominate some other things and try to get some other things on the list. So that's why I'm going to say no to Fury.
Yeah, Fury is one of those ones in which I've seen it once, and but I'm going to say yes to it because I do think it is a good movie. But
Shit.
yeah, so Fury makes the list, and we've got one spot left.
Shit. Wait. Down to you two, unless it come back to me. I know, like two other choices, controversy.
But it's back. It is back on me, and I'm going to bring up Enemy at the Gates. This is a movie I think is it's interesting. It's one that I watched for the first time when we did Ed Harris movies a while back. But this is one of those ones in which it shows the Battle of Stalingrad, and I think this is a really interesting movie, and I think it is fun and exciting and great. And I think it deserves to be on this list. Dan, what do you say about Enemy at the Gates?
I mean, you want to see one of the best cat and mouse games in war? One of the best cat and mouse games in any movie ever, and that is Enemy at the Gates, where these two snipers are trying to kill each other, and they're moving and they're dodging, and it's like Jude Law and Ed Harris are both fantastic in this movie. I really, it is an underrated World War II movie, Malcolm. But I just kind of want to get one more nomination myself, so I'm going to say no.
Chris, what do you say about Enemy at the Gates?
Abstain. I have not seen it, and I looking through a bunch of war movie and can't come back to me to make sure I don't have to go to my
but Dan, we go back to you for your next
to
nomination.
Chris, what were you finish? What were you saying, Chris?
No, I was looking through like other lists to make sure I wasn't missing anything that I could think of that we should try to get on the list. But it's your turn now. All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to Vietnam. Okay, guys, you want to talk about a movie that has a great depiction of the people going off to war, what happens, how war affects these people, and it shows them after war, and then has some of the most brutal, absolutely just awful, miserable scenes during the war, and that is The Deer Hunter. And Michael Cimino's masterpiece with phenomenal performances from Meryl Streep, Robert De Niro, oh God, Fredo, oh God, what's his name? Damn it, Dog Day Afternoon, Godfather, Conversation. What the hell? Huh?
John Cazale.
John Cazale is phenomenal. Christopher Walken is amazing. Christopher Walken is amazing in this film. Robert De Niro, incredible. This movie is easily one of the 12 greatest movies depicting war, depicting the effects of war, depicting the people going off to war in this little steel town, this little city, town outside of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. I think it's an incredible film. Hopefully one of you has seen The Deer Hunter.
Chris, what do you say about The Deer Hunter?
Malcolm, you should go first. Malcolm, you should go first. I have not seen it.
Just like past
Look, all my list of my
one
mom
that I
told me to
waited
watch it.
too long to watch, and it just came off streaming service when I went to look for it. So yeah, I haven't seen it. Chris, what is your next nomination?
No, I get to know going in. There you go. The first half hour is not the greatest, but I think the performance is another Mel Gibson directed movie. And the war scene is shocking and intense, but it's a great story. I go with Hacksaw Ridge. I think the story of Denver 2 is amazing. I think Andrew Garfield gives honestly one of his best performances ever given. And the way the story is told, when you find out about the guy, how many lives he saved, the war scene is intense and impactful. Everybody else in the movie gets great performance. It's so good. Yeah, at the beginning is hokey. Yeah, it's a little hokey in the beginning, but the last half hour when it gets to that war and the intensity, the story of it, it's just so good. I know I'll probably be the only one in this room with this movie. I know that people out here don't like that.
What movie?
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Dan, what do you say about Hacksaw Ridge?
Wow, that's surprising, Malcolm. I'll tell you what. Hacksaw Ridge is a great film. Hugo Weaving as Andrew Garfield's father. Andrew Garfield as a man who doesn't want to fight in war, doesn't want to fire a weapon, goes into war without a weapon, and then saves 75 guys. I thought Mel Gibson knows how to depict these kinds of scenes of war, scenes of battle, scenes of violence in movies. And I think he does a great job. Oh man, I'm just thinking to myself, what could we put on this list other than Hacksaw Ridge right now? And I know there's a lot of movies. I know there's a lot of movies that could be put on this list other than Hacksaw Ridge, but the ones that have already been voted down because people haven't seen them. I mean, could we put something better than Hacksaw Ridge on the list? I'm going to say no. I don't think we can put something better than Hacksaw Ridge on the list, considering all the factors involved. So I'm gonna vote yes for Hacksaw Ridge.
And Dan closes off the list, and we get Hacksaw Ridge as the last one to make this.
You're getting to the point where what we're gonna. I mean, I don't know what else. I could have brought up a bunch of more, but that's just me. But I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen them.
But anyway, for honorable mentions, I'll start off. For honorable mentions, I had The Great Escape on my list that I was going to bring up next. I had Black Hawk Down. I also, I'm not too sure where these ones fall. I also did have Gone with the Wind, Casablanca on there, but I don't really know where they fall. But they are really considered war movies or that, but which is why I didn't bring them up. But Dan, did you have any honorable mentions there?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. I'm just going to go to my list here real quick. I'll get to my list. Let me see here. I got my list. I should have had it prepared already, Malcolm. The Longest Day, which has got a phenomenal cast. A lot of people aren't the biggest fan of it. Tora, 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 another World War II movie. The Hurt Locker. Nobody brought up The Hurt Locker, which was shocking. Zero Dark 30. Yeah, we haven't really brought up a lot of the modern war movies. The Afghan War, Iraq War. Another one I can't believe nobody brought up, A Thin Red Line. I should have said no to Hacksaw Ridge. Maybe we could have got A Thin Red Line on there. I just looked at my list here. Oh my God, how did nobody bring up A Thin Red Line? Wings, which is a aerial battle movie, won the first Oscar ever. Cold Mountain, another one about Civil War. Another, oh man, I can't believe nobody brought it up. Letters from Iwo Jima. Nobody brought up
about that.
Sergeant York, 13 Hours. A movie I'm surprised Malcolm hasn't brought up is Pan's Labyrinth, about the Spanish Civil War and fantasy. The Dirty Dozen, Das Boot, about a sea battle, a submarine battle. I mean, there's, like I said, another one that's a foreign film, Land of Mine. The list goes on and on. Downfall, Brutal Gans plays Adolf Hitler. I mean, the list could go on and on. I mean, to narrow it down to 12 it was just definitely going to be really difficult.
But anyway, Chris, did you have any honorable mentions?
So the one that I was skirting around with Warhorse, I actually do like that Lost Secret too. But a couple honorable mentions. Last time I Overlord, despite fictional, I think it's really good World War II movie, despite the zombie fictional aspect of it. 300. I'm going through everything that is mentioned, and everybody else he mentioned. The pianist is really good. Like, to go on and on, the Lawrence of Arabia, I think I'm surprised nobody mentioned it. Another one I think not a lot of people have seen it, featured a great late performance for Alan Rickman. Iron Sky, about the drone warfare in Kenya. It really, really effective movie about the use of drone. It had a heartbreaking ending to it. I won't spoil it, but it hit you right in the heart, and it's so intense. And Paul Halleman is so good in it, and nobody has seen it yet. Definitely check Iron Sky out.
Yeah, I saw it. It's very good.
But there's so many good movies that we forget. Casablanca would skirting around too, because it's World War II, but it's romance spy thriller that we're like back and forth on.
But anyway, now we get on to the fun part, which is ranking what we've got here. So we're going to write on the board what we want for 12, or bit of paper, or whatever you have beside you.
Okay, which one should I go with?
Dang, I can't. When I looked at my
Man, I did get
we
lucky.
haven't mentioned, Malcolm, I couldn't believe how many that we haven't mentioned. I probably would have said no to Hacksaw Ridge. Not that anybody would have voted for any of the other ones I mentioned or nominated. Did anybody see A Thin Red Line? Did either of you guys see A Thin Red Line?
And on my list to watch, I just like there's some. I wanted to also watch Flavor the Firefly, but I think anybody would have brought up. I know that it's a lot of people's favorite war movie.
But anyway, Dan, what do you have for 12?
Jojo Rabbit.
Chris?
Full Metal Jacket. I just don't like that last half hour of the movie. I think first half is great, but that last half track is down.
Braveheart. So chat. The first comment I see, Braveheart, Jojo Rabbit, or Full Metal Jacket for 12. But I think I might know where it's going to go, depending on who comments first.
I saw a Red October. Just there were so many to choose from.
Yeah, I
Hell, I
think
even saw Few Good Men.
I don't think it was during a war. The Hunt for Red October wasn't during a war. It was during peacetime.
But yeah, Stardrew says Jojo Rabbit. So Jojo Rabbit is going to be 12. I'm disappointed in the chat.
Why am I not surprised? I also thought the Gary Oldman winner is also really good. Look at that. What? Actually, yeah, either one would have been a good Gary Oldman. I thought Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but more about.
Oh God, love Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
But I'm sorry, Tim, but yeah, I only with the chat I go for the first one, but Tim would have agreed with me and would have put Braveheart, but yeah, but Dan, what do you have at 11?
Five Bloods, the Five Bloods.
Chris, what do you have at 11?
Full Metal Jacket.
And I've got Braveheart again. So we've been treating the Five Bloods, Braveheart, and Full Metal Jacket. The first comment I see, and it's Stardrew. Stardrew just got in before Tim Franco again, and the Five Bloods is going to be.
Thank you.
We got so many Vietnam movies on our list, and I realized.
Tim Franco. he's just barely short on his getting in there. What do we got left? Malcolm? I can't remember what we got left.
It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
Oh shoot! My bad.
It's all good. It's just going to disappear for a minute while I get remove Braveheart off that. I'm removing the Five Bloods off that because people are weird.
Putting Braveheart in before anybody even votes. Yeah, we knew you want Braveheart on. You don't like Braveheart, I guess, Tim, huh? I didn't realize it. I don't know.
Well, Braveheart is a debate that be interesting to ask people.
All right, surprising.
But Chris, what do you have for 10?
Full Metal Jacket. That last half hour stinks the movie.
Dan, what do you have?
Hacksaw Ridge.
So we've got Braveheart, Hacksaw Ridge, and Full Metal Jacket. The first comment, and Tim got it before Star Drew, so it's going to be Braveheart. It's going to be at 10.
All right.
Wow!
Come on, Tim.
Big up above, below Full Metal Jacket. Wow.
I mean, it's because Full Metal Jacket's a good movie.
But Braveheart is too, though, Malcolm.
It just that last half hour. Last half hour not great as the first half of that.
But there we go to 9.
Ooh, that is very debatable.
But yeah, I'm going for 9. I'm going Fury. Dan,
I'm gonna go this time. I'm gonna go with Chris. I'm gonna go with Full Metal Jacket.
Chris.
Well, I actually regret changing my answer because I gave up on trying to get Full Metal Jacket at Apocalypse Now because I never seen it.
What? You crazy?
So we've got Apocalypse Now, Full Metal Jacket, and Fury.
All right, come
The
on.
first comment I said.
Come on, Fury.
I'm gonna give you a match. Yes.
And Star Drew got in first, and it's going to be Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this last.
That's good. I don't mind. I don't mind. Back that last section is so bad. God, I know Tim was like, lecturing me about the last section earlier, but whatever.
No.
Why are we seeing Tim Franco back on the Schmodown is what I want to know.
Once they start the singles tournament.
Oh, is he going to be in that? Oh, that's good.
But Chris, what do you have?
I have to go with the only one I have not seen yet, Apocalypse Now. I'm HBO Max. I have to watch that.
I'm sticking with Fury.
Fury.
We're back and forth between that and Glory.
And this time, for once, we don't have to go to the chat. Fury is going to be at 8.
Sorry for the cat in the background, if you guys can hear that.
It's all good. Sometimes we get dogs barking in the background. It's a standard thing when it comes to doing things online.
At least I have nobody wanting to yell at me so far today compared to last one.
Well, good luck, Tim, in the tournament. I hope you do well. Look forward to seeing you. And when you're in the teams tournament, too, hopefully.
But Dan, what do you have for 7?
I'm going back to Hacksaw Ridge.
Chris, what do you have for 7?
Off the list now, I had to go with the one I haven't seen. So.
And I'm actually going for Inglourious Bastards.
Oh!
So we got Apocalypse Now, Inglourious Bastards, and Hacksaw Ridge.
Drew's like, Chris should change his answer.
Sandra, I will get to the movie this week.
And Tim Franco got in with Hacksaw.
All right, Tim Franco. Good man. You're a good man.
You know what?
Okay. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Yeah, let's see what we got left here. Yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah. All right, Malcolm. Want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
Inglourious Bastards.
Chris, what do you have for 6?
Glory.
Oh, geez.
I've got Inglourious Bastards, but Glorious
Wow.
Bastards is good.
At least you took the cue from
Gloria is a good movie, but overpassed.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's good. All right.
It's one of these things I always avoid doing something that I've not seen unless I have to come down to it.
Okay, going back to my.
Oh, stay with what you wrote last.
No, I'm going back to what I've been writing.
But yeah, so we've got Apocalypse Now, Schindler's List, 751, Platoon, and Glory.
Glory.
But I haven't got anything written down yet. And I'm going.
I may change. Okay, that one.
But Chris, what do you have for 5?
Glory.
And I actually had Saving Private Ryan, but Glory
What?
is going to be 5.
All right, so now we're voting for 5 now.
Oh, we've just done 5. 5 is going to be Glory. Be on to 4.
Okay, you lacked Alana, you did.
All right.
But Chris, what do you have for 4?
Apocalypse Now.
I've got Saving Private Ryan. Dan.
Schindler's List.
Oh, damn.
So chat, we've got Schindler's List, Apocalypse Now, or Saving Private Ryan. The first comment I sort of see in the chat will be the one that I take as the tiebreaker. Which is Apocalypse Now is going to be 4.
What? Who the hell voted for Apocalypse Now? How dare you? How dare you? Who the heck is Movie Man?
That is Steven. Steven.
I'm unfriending you, Steven, for that. I'm unfriending you for that.
It's all fun and games.
I know. It is. It's fun and games.
But for the record, Apocalypse Now is probably my number 1 too. But Dan, what do you have for number 3?
Come on, people. Schindler's List.
Chris.
Saving Private Ryan is great, but not better than the top other 2.
Saving Private Ryan.
Oh my God, you guys are killing me. You're killing me here.
Take out the first couple minutes in the movie. It's great, but it doesn't have that emotional gut.
There's some great scenes after that. I mean, there's some great war scenes after that.
But now instead of going for number 2, we're going to go straight to our number 1.
So yeah, I've been removing them from the scroll. So we're down to what are we down?
Schindler's List and Platoon.
Wow, Platoon survives this one.
That's. I think people forgot about it.
I've been not voting for it because I haven't seen it. I don't know about why Chris hasn't wanted to vote it earlier, but Dan,
I love Platoon.
My number 1 of these 2 is Platoon.
Chris, what is your number 1?
As much as I love Platoon, I only didn't want this film to haunt me to go to this external list.
Schindler's List is my number 1 too. So. As I make the last 2 banners.
I think it's great, Tim Franco. I think it's a great film.
It's surprisingly put up well, Tim. Like I just saw it for the first time just recently.
Thank you.
But
thank you.
But
So-
just to recap our 12 top 12 war movies, we've got at 12 we've got Jojo Rabbit. At 11 we've got The Five Bloods. At 10 we've got Braveheart. At 9 we've got Full Metal Jacket. At 8 we've got Fury. At 7 we've got Hacksaw Ridge. At 6 we've got Inglorious Bastards. At 5 we've got Glory. At 4 we've got Apocalypse Now. At 3 we've got Saving Private Ryan. At 2 we've got Platoon. And at number 1 we've got Schindler's List. But all in all, there was a fun list. But yeah. I will put up a poll with the 5 options for next week up there. But Dan, where can people find you online?
Well, Malcolm, I am a film critic, and I write for a website called disappointmentmedia.com. Don't at me. I didn't come up with the name. I just write for them. That's DISIPOINTMEDIA Media. I write a bunch of articles for them, film reviews, retrospectives, all kinds of different. If somebody has died, I'll go back and write a review of one of their movies just as a respect for them, like I did for Brian Denny here, Irfan Khan. Also, I do 2 shows on YouTube. One's called The Top 5 Weekly, where myself and some guests discuss a topic based on what movies came out in theaters. We haven't been doing a lot of that because there hasn't been a lot of movies out in theaters. My other show that I do is called Bleacher Features, where myself and a guest discuss a different sports movie each week. And absolutely today, Robert Meyer Burnett and myself have had a great discussion on North Dallas 40. And so I do that every week, and that's a show I really, really love doing. So if any of my shows, Top 5 Weekly or Bleacher Features, you're interested in wanting to be on discussing movies with me, just hit me up on Facebook, Dan Skip Allen.
Chris, where can people find you online?
So everybody can find me at Beyond Tomorrow with Malcolm here for Full Metal. What class is it, Malcolm?
Classic, yep.
Yep, I'll be on tomorrow, Matt. So look out for that. And then I'll be on shooting up on Matt next week. So be on the lookout, especially for Pissed Off on Tuesday. Yeah.
And yeah, you can find me over on Take 3, hosting Late Night Take 3. This next week's topic is it's going to be called Streaming Wars. Main topic is going to be just highlighting all the different streaming services that are out there. Primarily, probably just the big ones, because there's probably a whole bunch of ones people have probably never heard of that are just country exclusive, and that. But because with the release of Peacock, that's just come out recently, and HBO Max and all the other ones that are out there, I thought they all need to be highlighted because. But yeah, that'll be the topic of late night. Next week on Rankin will be the topic of whatever wins the poll that I'll be putting up in a bit. And then over on Full Metal, tomorrow I'm hosting Full Metal Classic, which is our kind of a gateway into the singles league kind of thing. But it's just to prove yourself and show how much you know about movie trivia. And then for I also do Full Random. This week is going to be Pixar, and you'll see Chris again in that up against Nico and Mark Menchaca. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And until next time, keep listing shit.
I love that one.